Hello, everybody. Welcome to the member training. Today, we're going to be talking about Instagram apps so that you can gram like a pro. I got a special guest here today.
Hi, guys. I'm Sarah DiBiase. I'm the marketing coordinator here at the Paperless Agent, and we brought a lot of stuff to show you today.
We do. And let me just Okay, how about now? Do we have sound coming through with our Yeti microphone? Hey, guys. Yes. All right, there we go. All right, so we got some sound here. This is good news. A little side note, there's a chance when I turn the camera on, the sound will stop working. So we got 1 minute. Actually, we're officially supposed to start, but I'd love to be able to have the camera on. So I'm going to turn the camera on here and we'll see what happens, guys. Okay. So can you guys see and hear us? Go to the chat section and then say, I can see and hear you. That would be some really good news because that means all of the technology is working and we'll be able to get started. And it looks like I'm seeing yes. I'm seeing yeses. All right. So you can see and hear. So that's thumbs up. Woohoo! There's nothing like Sarah starting off on one of your, first trainings and have the technology completely break down on you. So that was a good way to break her in. Thank you guys for tricking her into thinking that everything was not working. For a moment there, Sarah thought she was going to be off the hook. Oh, you don't even know what the heck I'm talking about because you couldn't hear what I was talking about in the first place. Okay, so Chris got here. Today, I'm super excited about today's member training. There are two reasons why. First, we're going to be talking about Instagram and specifically Instagram apps so you guys can gram like a pro. And one of my goals, one of my business goals for 2020 is to increase both my understanding, effectiveness, and results that we get from using Instagram. So that's one of the reasons why I'm excited. The other reason why I'm super excited is because no, that is not Jordan. This is actually Sarah. This is Sarah DiBiase. She's on our team. You don't get to see Sarah very often because she's the person behind the scenes. She does a lot of the marketing for the Paperless Agent. She does a lot of the marketing for Creth Partners. And she happens to be our resident Instagram expert. And so I'm very excited to be able to bring Sarah out and share her with you guys. But you guys, you didn't hear this because the sound wasn't working. She normally doesn't do training. So I need you to do me a favor. Don't worry. Jordan is still here. I see Terry saying, where's Jordan? Here's the deal. Jordan is actually right over there. You guys can't see her, but she's right over there. But here is the fun and exciting news is that I wanted to be able to bring Sarah out because she understands Instagram, I would say even better than I do. And that's I don't know whether that's a good or bad thing. So anyway, I'm excited for you guys to be able to, I know what I was going to say. I need you to do me a favor. Since Sarah normally doesn't do these trainings, but I really want to be able to get the best out of her. Everything that's in that head of hers, I want to be able to bring out and share with you guys. Go to the chat section and just give her a word of encouragement. Let her know that she's going to do a great job. We've already rehearsed. We've practiced. We've gone through. We've done all of the things that I believe are necessary for you guys to get everything that she knows into your brains. But do me a favor and give her a word of encouragement so that she will be rocking like a rock star here. So with that said, let's go ahead and get started. Today, let's see. Let me go back to the slide deck and use that as our basis for what we're going to talk about today. So there are three big questions that we constantly get about Instagram, whether it's you guys asking us or whether it's just, interactions that we have with our different members, or even just in general, as I go about using Instagram and people asking us and having conversations with people about how do we get better results with Instagram, is there's just three questions that pop up. The first one is related to what kinds of things should I post on Instagram? If I'm in real estate, for example, what should I be posting on Instagram? Another question that we get is how do I engage more people? Like, how do I get more people to comment or like, or how do I get people just to engage with me on Instagram? So that's the second question that we oftentimes get. And then the third question we get is, can it be a little easier? Is there a way to, is there a workflow or is there a process? Or there are steps that would make this whole process of posting on Instagram a little bit easier. Maybe you've tried it and it seemed a little daunting at first and you just couldn't get your mind around how can I make this really an effective part of what I do? And so these are the three biggest questions that we get. And so today what we're going to do is to answer these questions. I want to share with you three Instagram apps. And actually, these apps can be used for more than just Instagram, but I wanted to share with you three apps that solve those three questions, right? So the question about what content should I post, I'm going to show you this app called Lumen 5, which is a way to produce good content, good posts for Instagram. Hashmeet is a way for you to increase your engagement. And Sked Social is a way to make it easier to post and actually increase the effectiveness of your posts and also therefore make it easier or increase your engagement that you get. So the way we're going to break this down is we're going to actually go into some live tutorials and demonstrations for these three different apps. Hopefully by the end of today, here's what's going to happen. Hopefully by the end of the day, I will have convinced you that you should go try some of these apps out or apps like them if you don't want to go use the exact ones that we have here. But we've gone through a bunch of them and sort of created the short list. So I think that out of all the different ones that we've tried in working towards solving these issues of, what should I post and how do I produce good stuff to post and how do I increase engagement and how do I make it easier? These are definitely on the short list and we think we would encourage you to check them out. So before we get into using these three different apps, I did want to address an issue about using Instagram in general. And so I think it's really important not to have the expectation that you're going to be like a celebrity Instagram influencer. You know what I mean? Like, I think that there's this perception oftentimes when people look at Instagram is to look at the influencers that are out there. You always read, I often laugh at the articles where you hear about the influencer who expected to be able to stay for free at Fiji because they had, 500 followers on Instagram or whatever. So, but I think it is unrealistic to expect that the following would happen, that you'd be able to just post on Instagram. All of a sudden, tons of people would come out of the woodwork and then all of a sudden have leads pouring in. That would be unrealistic. Just posting in and of itself, unless you've got something really unique, is not going to get a lot of followers. It's not going to get lots of leads pouring in. And when I say really unique, I'm not talking about like those of us who sell real estate, right? So I think you have to step outside of that. But there are some key points that I think that we're going to use and we can use to help understand this is how we advocate using Instagram. Okay. So there's 3 key points here. 1, Instagram's a social media platform. It's not a mass broadcasting tool unless you're a celebrity or influencer or even politician these days, right? So that's important to note, that it really, which leads us to the second point, is that Instagram is a way to connect with people that we already know or that we want to know. And it is possible to make new connections, but that's different, right? That's a very different context of use. You're not using it as a broadcasting tool. You're looking at it as a tool for connection, right? For connection. And then the third point is that Instagram is a tool to communicate with your sphere, get recommendations, and increase the number of connections that you have. And when we use these as our tenants, I guess you could call them, when we use these as our tenants, you're going to see the way in which we advocate how you use Instagram doesn't require that you have tons of followers. It just means that you have the right ones. It doesn't mean that you have to post all the time. It means that you post the right types of posts. And so with that, that is the context for the apps that we're going to share today. It's the context of how we would even advocate using it in the first place. It reminds me, and if you're brand new to using Instagram, we've done a few member trainings on Instagram. The most recent one was with Sue Zimmerman, and who is the Instagram or the Insta expert. And one of the ways that she advocated the use is just even using it to connect with people, comment on other people's stuff. Don't be so worried about what you're going to post. First start by, connecting with other people, and then from there building on what you do. And so with that, I don't need to convince you to use Instagram. You're here. So I'm just going to assume that it's a thing that you want to do, and definitely go check out some of the previous trainings that we've done. So one thing that is important to understand is that Instagram, in terms of what shows up in our feeds, is based on an algorithm. The algorithm is very much like the Facebook algorithm. As you know, Facebook owns Instagram. So there's a lot of overlap with their technology. The way the algorithm works is it prioritizes the relationship with the person that you have, right? In terms of the post content that you're going to see in your feed. If someone you know has viewed or engaged your posts in the past, they're probably going to see it in the future, and it's going to show up higher in your feed. The other thing is interest. You have shown, or the people who are viewing posts, that they've shown on similar types of content. And what I found fascinating is that Instagram introduces a visual content recognition system, meaning it looks at content within your photos, within your videos, and it starts to categorize the content, and not to say like, oh, this is about this or this is about that, just in terms of your preference on what types of images and videos are you watching, are you engaging, are you liking and commenting on, and whatever you're engaging with, you will likely engage with more of it based on the algorithm. And then of course the last piece is on frequency and recency. So Instagram wants, and Facebook for that matter, wants what we see in the feed to be relevant to what's going on. And so the timeliness, or even the time when it was posted, you typically won't see posts on there that are 2 months old, right? Or even going past a few days. You're not going to see stuff that's old. If you do, it's going to be stuff at the bottom of the feed. And so that's how the algorithm works. When we understand how the algorithm works, then we can know what types of things to post. All right. So we can know more of that's knowing that those are the rules, right? So people engaging our relationships with people that we have in terms of on Instagram, whether they've engaged with us or not in the past, their likelihood of engaging the types of content that we're sharing or not, and then the recency of the post. So let's answer the first question on what to post. And before I do that, remember, I'm going to share with you how to use this tool called Lumen 5. I want to talk about some examples of the types of things that you can post. And then I want to share with you a specific format of content that you can post, which then is going to connect us with one of the tools that I want to share with you that I'm excited for you to learn about. So what are the types of things that we should post? Real estate, right? Obviously current and past listings that we either have on the market or that we've sold not too long ago or recently sold. We've got a few examples that you're going to see of that today. Your expertise, right? Real estate tips or what you know. videos and photos of your clients, you helping them achieve their real estate goals and specifically, and then also your real estate life, a little glimpse of what you do behind the scenes. For example, if you're going on a tour, if you're going on a caravan, if you're going to go preview some inventory, all these are examples of your real estate life, of what you do behind the scenes. And then a little bit of your normal life, just to let people know that you're a real person. Now, one of my favorite forms of content to post is video. I'm a big advocate. I'm very bullish on using video in real estate. And I think that Instagram and some of the tools that I'm going to share make it a lot easier for us to start using and doing a little bit more video. It definitely makes you stand out on social media. And with Instagram, you can upload videos that are up to 60 seconds long, which means the time requirements are very short, which is a good thing. It means that you don't have to produce long length videos. In fact, if you're going to do Instagram stories, the video length is only 15 seconds. And so with that, what I want to do, let me just pull my video up here real quick. So what I'm going to do next is, in terms of producing videos and producing content for Instagram that people are going to engage, people that make sense coming from you as a real estate professional, I've actually got 2 example or sample videos that I'm going to show you, and I'm going to show you how I created them using this tool called Lumen 5. In the past, when I used to make this type of post or this type of content for social media, I used to use, and I still use it for that matter, Adobe Spark or Adobe Spark Video. But one of the things about this new tool that I wanted to introduce and why I like it so much is there's 2 features to it that make it really awesome. But I'm going to play the video that I created in advance that's going to just show you, I shot a video in advance doing a little quick walkthrough of this Lumen 5 app, just so that I could cut out all the stuff and compress the time frame for you to get a sense of not only what types of videos that you can produce with it, but also how cool and easy it is to use. So let me tee up this video, and then and this video is going to play for about 13, 14 minutes. And like I said, it's going to show you 2 examples of real estate videos that you can produce using this Lumen 5 app. At the end of that, we're going to pop back on, and then we're going to do real time. I'm going to share with you an app, the HashMe app. Actually, Sarah's going to show you how to use the HashMe app, and then Sarah's also going to show you how to use the Sked Social app. So with that, let's go ahead and play this video.
Let's log into Lumen 5 to see what they've got in here. So if I just log in, you're going to see got a couple of videos here. There's 2 reasons why I really like Lumen 5. And the first one is their stock video library. In fact, if I just pull up one of these projects, you'll be able to see they've got a pretty extensive library. So you can just run a search, let's just say home, for example, and let that search, and you'll see there's all these little video vignettes or clips that can be used. Many of them free. There's a few paid ones or some that require higher levels of membership, but there's a ton of free stuff in here, and you can see a preview. Just if you let your mouse stay on that video, you'll see what it looks like. So a lot of good B-roll, right? So if you're going to think of putting that professional touch into a video, some good B-roll, even just if you're going to do a talkover video, something to add some action into a video. And so that's one of the features that I really like. And then the other feature that I like is, let me get out of this one and go back to Lumen 5. The other cool feature that they have is being able to create a video from an article or a blog post. So when you're creating a video, for example, you can just grab an article and plug it in, and it'll begin the process of creating a video for you. Let me just grab a few presets here so that it'll create a video. I just want to show you how cool this feature is. I'm going to go into more detail for how to use this library, as well as how to use this particular feature in creating a video from a blog post. I just want to give you a sense of, all right, here's how cool it is, and why these 2 features for me were, all right, this is why I like this tool and why I thought it was worth sharing with you. So it'll take the blog article, and it'll, using an algorithm or artificial intelligence algorithm that they have, is go through and create a video for you based on what it said, what it read, or what it thought it was important. What I want to do, I want to first, before we start going into these details, I'm going to show you 2 videos, and I'll show you this one first, And this is just a recently sold video that I used Lumen 5 to make. And let's just take a look at what this looks like real quick. So very straightforward. It's got images, it's got text, there's some movement that's taking place. I dropped some of the video footage to give it a little bit of perspective, a little bit of depth, a little kind of professional touch with the B-roll. But for the most part, what I was working with was just images from this listing, and I had just grabbed copy from the listing description and added it. So I'm going to show you how easy it is to add all this stuff in here. For creating this particular video, I created just one from scratch, right? So when I went to, let's go here through Lumen 5, when I went to go create the video, instead of using a blog or using a script, I just uploaded some of those images and then started creating the video. I find that the algorithm isn't quite good yet at making exactly what I want. So oftentimes you just start from, all right, I'm going to start from scratch with this, which means you're going to add one of the panels, you're going to put an image there, and you're going to add text, which is pretty straightforward to do. Let me just show you how easy it is to add an image. You'll see when you scroll over. This is the last one, so I'm just going to add one here briefly so you can see how easy it is to add a scene to the video. Before I put some text there, I'm just going to show you that I've got some uploaded photos. So let's say I wanted to add this photo here, and so it's going to add that photo. You know, I can go through and I can crop that photo so it shows a different part of it. Okay, I can go through and change the pan, like the movement that's going to take place. Right now it's panning right. I can do a zoom out. You know, it's the last one on the screen, so now it'll zoom out, and I can preview what it's going to look like. So I can see a preview of that little segment and what it's going to do. Then I can start just adding text here. We're here to help. So that, let me play that again so you see how the text shows up. And of course you can do lots of changes to it. Let's say you wanted to, so I've added a highlight. You can add what a subscene, which is adding like a secondary line of text for that image that would show up. I'm going to delete it. I'll just show you an example of what that looks like because I have one up here, right here. So you'll see that it's the same image, but then when I add one of these subscenes, I can add a second layer of text. So let's see what that looks like. So you see with that same image during that pan, it pops up. And that's all you have to do. Is if you've got the images for a listing, you can do just listed, you can do recently sold, and just put the images in there. You can modify the layouts here and choose a different layout for each one of the scenes. You can see we can, so for this one that's here, I can just change this, click on that, and you see it changed it. You can now see what that preview is going to look like now. So a little bit different. You might say, oh, that works kinda. Maybe I want to go in here and change the way it's cropping a little bit. So you do that. Okay. And then an important factor is the length of time that the slide is going to show up. So you can go through and change the amount of time. I was shooting for roughly a 30-second video with this one that I had created. So I am going to delete this one because I'm not going to use this. So that's how easy it is to create. If you've got the photos for it, how easy it is to create a video. Now, the way I added this this B-roll footage, let me show you how easy it is to add that. Go here to the end again. I'm just going to go click on library. We'll search on happy. Oops, that's not what I wanted. me go over here and search happy people. So I've got, let's see, lots of happy people here. Happy people, happy people. Maybe we should try happy people house. There we go. So we've got someone holding the keys. Let's just drive this in here. And so you can see it's going to add that video. Let's see what it looks like. All right, so you might say, well, I think I'm going to crop it a little bit because it was not quite centered good. So there we go. We're going to crop it. Now that video will play a little bit more centered around that couple. You notice that music that I have playing? I just have that off to the side here. There's a bunch of existing music that they have that you can choose from, which makes it super easy. But that's how you would add some of that existing B-roll footage that they have. Again, I'm going to delete that, and then when you're ready, you just click on Publish. Stop that there real quick. So what will happen is, as it prepares for download, it's going to cycle for a little bit, takes a couple of minutes, and you can download it. And then you can post it anywhere. Instagram, you can put it on Facebook if you'd like. One of the things I really liked about Lumen 5 is you can easily change, once you have a video created, you can easily change for optimization around the different formats. So I had created this as a 30-second video for Instagram, and I had it, I think, as the square. If I wanted to change it to a different ratio, I could just click on that, and then it'll change it to that. Now, I'll likely have to go through and make a few modifications, but you can see it'll do a nice job, and then you can go through and just tweak it a little bit. This actually did not a bad job at all at changing it to this format. And then I can just download it, publish it, and then download it again in the different formats. So super useful, super helpful being able to change those formats. Now, the other type of video is using a blog or an article to create the video. And I find this to be super useful. So once I put that article in here, it brings that article in off onto the left-hand side here. And then I can just come in and I can highlight which pieces I want to use to create a video. And in this case, I think I used all of the stock video footage from the library there. Let's take a look at this video. So, nice way to take an article and take some tips out of that article and turn it into a short video. I think what I'm going to do though is show you a little bit more on how to do this one from scratch, because it's a little bit harder. In my opinion, it was a little bit harder to produce that. So I'm just going to grab this article. I'm going to click on Create Video, and it's going to use my blog. Click on Go, and I'm going to create it for an Instagram post. We'll do in the 1:1 ratio. Let's go with Strive for Greatness. And it's going to create the video for us, or at least it's going to create the beginnings of the video. And once it does, we'll be able to start making edits. All right, now we've got what they picked, and in going through it, as I read it, I can already see that I'm not liking some of this. I don't like some of the things they decided to highlight. I don't like some of the videos that they chose. So instead of keeping what they provided, I'm just going to clear the board. I am going to, let's see what this looks like here. Yep, we're going to modify that to, we'll just make that Creth Partners. Now what I can do is start grabbing the footage and the stuff that I want to use. Now they make it pretty easy. You'll see as I hover over text in the article on the left hand side, you're going to see that it starts to highlight it. And all I have to do is click on it and it'll create the scene for me here. Now I need to make some modifications. So I'm just going to change this. The National Association of Business Economics, I'm going to say, believe the U.S. economy will remain positive throughout 2020. Okay. And then let's see what that looks like. All right, so I don't like that bling sign there, so we're going to change the video to be a different video. So we'll go to the library and we'll put in economy. See what that does. Let's try housing. I'll just choose that one. So I just drag it in there and you'll see that it is going to so you can see that it created then that slide, and then I can just keep going through and adding the different parts of the article from the story section and making the changes. And for this type of video, what I would do is have like either headlines or stats, right? So a way you can provide value is headlines and stats, sort of the key essence of what that article is about, and just add slides like I did in my example that I shared with you earlier. So you can see it's a great way to be able to make videos. But if you do it, even if you do it for nothing else and only do it for listings or recently solds, it's a good option to make videos that just have a slightly more professional touch because of either that animation that they're adding into it or that library, that video library where you can pull in that B-roll footage for your videos.
And we're back. Let me just pull up my slide deck here, which I don't know if we're going to need, but that way our face is a little bit smaller so we can focus on answering some of the questions before we start talking about this really cool hashtag tool that Sarah's going to share with you, as well as a very cool scheduling app that we can use. So I think Jordan and I were talking, and Jordan, am I loud and clear? Can you hear and see me?
Yes.
Okay, very good. So what I'm going to do is go through and answer some of those questions for you guys that came up. And you know what, Jordan? I don't have that over here, so I'm going to have to open up the control panel over here. Okay. So, oh no, Jordan.
What?
I actually don't have any of the questions because I didn't have the control panel open.
Cool.
Oh, you know what? I can answer some of the questions if I scroll down. Never mind. I can see them in this chat right here. Okay, so
the ones that marked as questions would be in the Q&A only part.
but if they show up as a queue here. I can see them.
Okay.
I just don't. All right. So we're going to answer some of the questions about Lumen 5 because we saw that there was a bunch of questions about it. And so I'm going to answer them and then we'll move on to the next one. Let's see. Will says Facebook does not like third-party posters like Hootsuite. Is Instagram the same way? You know, that's a good question. What I have found in my own research is that it just depends. Right now, it's not the case. You know, like there's a lot, like some of the biggest advocates of using Instagram are folks like Later, as well as folks like Sked Social, and they do not seem to have a problem. Now, I would say that and I think because Instagram's requirements are a little bit different, a lot of people take the same piece of content and they would use a tool like Hootsuite just to take the same thing and like put it, using that tool into all these different places. As of right now, it's not the case, but Instagram also has some interesting and slightly different publishing requirements. So, well, I think that remains to be seen. Next question about, let's see, is Jim was asking, is there a way to get something on Instagram that isn't on your phone? Actually, when Sarah does her demo of Sked Social, you're going to see that there are desktop apps that you can use to create posts and then schedule those posts. Sherry asked, can you use Lumen 5 video to also post on Facebook, or is it just for Instagram? It is for Facebook, is for Instagram, and even for Twitter. And I think you could see that what's helpful about creating the video in Lumen 5 is that you can just change the format to be for the different placement types. So yes, you can use it for different social media platforms. Linda asks, do stock photos get overlooked by the IG algorithm? I would say probably yes. But in this, so like that's why most of the stuff we had were our listing photos. But when it came to the video is falls under different parameters, because the video is being based off of the words, right? So the text and the copy that's going on there along with those videos. The videos themselves, they weren't photos, but they were stock videos. And there's a big difference between a stock video versus a stock photo, and how you organize and create your video. So yes, where if you just had a stock photo and you just had one photo with, let's say, text on it, it's a very different experience than, let's say, taking a series of video vignettes and then adding text and recreating it into your own format is a different video. And so it's not really stock at that point. And, in terms of the engagement, I don't think IG is going to look at the Lumen 5 content that you create and say, well, this is stock video, because a lot of video these days is what we would consider stock video. I mean, we have a professional video guy, Jarrett. You guys have met Jarrett on previous member trainings. We will often use stock video footage for B-roll. We'll oftentimes use stock video footage for, background video, or even we'll use stock video templates that we incorporate our own content, because video is very different than just the concept of using photos. And that's why I'm also a big advocate of creating video and using video in your social media to stand out. Let's see, another question is, Laura was asking, what does B-roll mean? B-roll, I don't know what B-roll technically stands for. I just know it's like the footage that is not the primary footage. So for example, if you're watching, and you've seen this on, let's say you're watching the news and there's a newscaster and they might be reporting on something. Like I remember there was one not too long ago about the floods that they were thinking might happen. And so there was like B-roll, or there was like a small video section of a car driving through, like a puddle. Now, was that puddle an actual flood? No, it was just, B-roll. It was additional footage that they added to it. So B-roll is a way, can you Google what B-roll is, Jordan, for me real quick? I don't know what it stands for. Do you know?
It's like background footage.
Main footage in the video is A-roll. B-roll is the secondary footage.
That's what I mean. It's basically, it's the secondary or non-primary footage. So I just knew something new. The main footage that you're watching is A-roll, and then the secondary stuff is B-roll. So that's where it technically comes from. But what it means is that it's just sort of additional images, because what happens is when people are watching video, they can really, our attention, right? In order to hold our attention, that's why we do a lot of cuts and there's a lot of changes to the scenes that you see in a video, and B-roll is a way to add some movement, some action, some excitement to your video, as well as that professional look and feel. Jennifer asks, love this. What is doing right now on the free version? So the only difference, so I actually upgraded for the lowest tier version of Lumen 5 because I wanted to get rid of the watermark, and that was the only difference. The membership option that I purchased just removed the watermark, which you didn't see it in the top right-hand corner. Normally on the top right-hand corner, there's a little Lumen 5 watermark, or an L5 watermark that's on there. So for me, because we want to market Creth Partners, and it was worth spending the few bucks to be able to get that taken off. And another way I would view apps like Lumen 5 and even the other ones that we're going to take a look at, specifically the scheduling one, is that let's say you've decided, hey, I'm gonna make use of Instagram, or I'm going to make use of social media. A way for you to get a tremendous amount of time back so that you're not spending time in the weeds or in the forest making stuff is to use tools like this, like Lumen 5, and use some of the other tools that we're going to share with you to save you time, right? What's your hour worth? Is it worth $20 to be able to save an hour? I would say yes, it is, or even $30 a month to save an hour every single month. In this case, multiple hours, as well as increase engagement. So something for you to factor into that equation is, if you're going to take it seriously, if you want to do it seriously, then look to save yourself some time and make the investment so that you can save yourself some time using these types of tools. Mike says, if we don't have a listing or recently sold, what video topics do you recommend? That's why I produced that second version, which was actually taking one of the articles from the website. I don't know if you noticed, that was the article that we shared with you for your marketing was it this month, Jordan, for January, right? So that was the agent ID or the marketing website that we provide that I grabbed the copy and put that and plugged that in to create that second video, Mike. So you can easily share your expertise and tips coming right out of your own blog. Jim says, can you upload from your desktop? You're going to see exactly how to do that when Sarah takes over here in just a moment. And Donna asks if Lumen 5 videos can be used in Facebook as well. Yes, they can. Carol asks, can you change fonts and text placement on Lumen 5? Yes, you can. Dean says, can you regulate time per frame? Where does the music come from? I think I showed you in there where to select the music from. There's just on the side, on the left-hand side, there's a little icon for music, and you can choose. They've got all music in there. You don't have to buy music. So they've got the music in there, and you can, yes, I think I also showed you how to change the number of seconds it spends on each frame. Dean. And Janine was asking about the resolution for the images. I'm not actually sure. It probably is based on the size requirements. The higher, the better. I actually went for my images. I went with a print level resolution because we have a professional photographer take those photos, and I just used those. Jennifer asked, can you change the background from black to another color? You can modify the styles of the template that you choose when you use Lumen 5. Carol asks, can you save an outro to be used on different videos? Yes, you can. Kathy asks, this be added to a multiple listings? Oh, can this be added to MLS? Good question. I don't know. Probably. Depends. I don't have the answer to that. I think it's going to depend on your MLS and what it supports, Kathy, in terms of do they allow you to upload videos and what are the requirements if you are going to upload a video into the MLS. I know like ours, you can do video, like video tours and stuff like that. So definitely check with your MLS. Rogers asked what format it downloads in. It downloads in an MP4. And let me see. Sue asked the advantages of disadvantages. All right, I think what I'm going to do, just for time's sake, Jordan, is I'm going to cut on over and we're going to finish up. So with that, the next thing we're going to do, I think we need to go onto this computer here. I'm excited. So this is the good stuff here. So remember, the first question that we wanted to answer was what kinds of stuff should I post? We're using Lumen 5 to produce videos to post. That's one of the options that you have. The second question was, how do I increase engagement? And so I'm actually going to, at this point, and then the third question was, how do I make it easier? So Sarah's going to answer the remaining two. Now, to answer the question on how do we increase engagement, we need to talk about hashtags, right? And so what I'm going to do as let me stop the slide presentation real quick because I'm going to share my screen over here. So stop this presentation, go over to this computer here, and do I guess I'll just do the whole screen. All right, so don't restart. Okay, so let's talk about hashtags, and then let's talk about the tools that we've got here. And I'm just going to let you kind of take over at this point.
Cool, awesome. Well, thanks, Chris. First off, I just want to say thank you for the warm welcome. I'm a little nervous, but very excited to be here sharing this knowledge with you guys. So before we get started going through the tool I have for you, I just want to talk a little bit about hashtags and what they are. Most of you have probably seen them before. Most of you probably know what they are, but just for the sake of learning, I'm going to go over a couple key points of hashtags. So a hashtag is actually a keyword or phrase strung together with the pound sign in front. They're used to draw attention, to organize, and to promote social media posts. So for example, one sec, guys.
All right. So we just got to turn my phone on here. Okay. There we go.
All right. Perfect. All right. So for example, we can look at this post right here. These are hashtags: home buyer, real estate tips, real estate experts, etc. So what a hashtag is, you can actually look and search for hashtags, and they categorize them so you can find them easier. And what we mean by that is if you click on this hashtag Austin Homes, it's going to pop up all of the posts that have the hashtag Austin Home in it. Now, you might not see yourself in the top posts, but you will see yourself in recent posts. to get into the top post, you're actually going to need to have a lot of engagement and followers, but we'll get to that eventually. So that's one way you can search for a hashtag. Another way is by actually using the search feature and typing in a keyword. As you can see, we've searched for sale, homes for sale, Austin, and that's going to pop up the same feature, which is search through hashtags. So again, you might see something in the top. You can see something in recent. That's going to be the easiest way to use hashtags and one of the most important features of a hashtag. So now that you guys know what a hashtag is, let's get into the HashMe app. Okay. So this is HashMe. It is a free app, but there are paid for services. That's about $9 a month. This tutorial that I'm talking on today is going to be on the free version, but if you see any features you'd like that aren't available, we do recommend getting the paid version, even if it's just for a month or two. And in a little bit, I'll go over why you would only need to pay for it for a month or two. So there are two ways you can use this app. You can either upload an image or you can input your own hashtag or keyword, and either one of these is going to generate those hashtags that you can use in your post. To save time, I'm just going to go through uploading a photo. It's pretty self-explanatory. If you want to manually enter hashtag to find those generated ones, you just type it in here. So you just type in, let's say, hashtag Austin, search. Excuse me, and it would pull up all of those hashtags. Now, because we are using the free version, one of the disadvantages is the top 5 hashtags are going to be hidden. However, you can see it's pretty easy to guess what those would be. You know,
I'm going to say the first one's Austin,
Mhm.
the second one's Texas, the third one's Dallas, the next one is Houston, and then I'm not sure what that really long one is.
Yeah, that long one kind of got me too. But as you can see, they're pretty easy to guess, and so you don't necessarily need the paid for version, but it is only $9 a month. If you're really serious about Instagram, which I'm going to assume you are, it might be worth your time. So let's go through actually uploading a photo and using that to generate tags. So you can choose from your library or you can take a picture with the camera. We're going to use the library today. And so I just picked this simple photo of a listing that we have. We're actually going to post this on the Instagram. So you can see all of the hashtags that it pulled up. Now, one thing I will say is emojis are not hashtags. You might see them a lot in other people's posts, but they will not be categorized by Instagram. So that's really important. Like I said, the main reason to use hashtags is so people can find your posts, so you can gain attention, and so they can be organized. So using an emoji is useful in the caption, not so much as a hashtag. So there are 2 ways that you can copy the hashtags and post them directly to Instagram. One way is just to simply copy the top 15. Now, with the free version, you're not going to be able to copy the top 15 because it's automatically going to copy those top 5 you can't see. And so that's just kind of a waste. What I recommend is selecting the tags you want manually. So let's say we select architecture, building, business, and we'll go with landscape. So you can copy those. And then what we recommend doing, you're not going to post these directly into Instagram just yet. What we're going to recommend actually is posting them on a note. And the reason we recommend doing this is because hashtags are not really going to lose their popularity. And what I mean by that is if it gives you top performing hashtags, those are pretty much going to be top performing for as long as you can imagine. With real estate being a really static business, the hashtags are not going to change in performance. It's not like a trending hashtag where if it was something from the news today, it might be trending today and not tomorrow. These are pretty much always going to be trending and have high performing rates. So if you wanted to pay for this app for a month or 2, you can just go ahead and copy all the hashtags it gives you, save them, and you go back to them anytime you need them. Then you don't have to have this app forever. So you'd want to post it on a notes app. And as you can see, we already have our caption listed out. This just kind of helps us with the consistency and posting regularly. So from here, we're going to go back to Instagram. And we're actually going to post our own picture. So this is the same picture that I posted into the HashMe app to generate those hashtags. Put your little flare on it. We're going to go captions. And we're just going to copy and paste this entire page. Boom. See how easy that is? So instead of actually going through and typing in each hashtag, seeing how many posts are under each one, and then choosing whether they're good or not, HashMe will do all of the work for you. It'll copy it, paste it to your phone. Pretty much just takes all of the hard work out of using hashtags. So we're going to actually share this in real time. Not sure why that's on our feed. And then go to our page and you can see that new post. Oops. And the hashtag at the bottom.
Very cool.
Yes. So that is the gist of the HashMe app.
Let's see, before we move on, all right, let's see if we have any questions that we should answer related to hashtags. All right, so Troy says put captions on the bottom of the post or make them the first comment. I've heard and I've read in doing both. What are your thoughts around doing them as, because a lot of people will do is they'll, put the caption and then in the first comment, they'll drop the hashtags.
So I've seen this done that way for two different reasons. The first reason people use the first comment for hashtags is because Instagram only allows you, I believe, 15 hashtags.
I think it's 30 total.
Did they up it to 30?
I think it's 30, yeah.
So 30 hashtags per post. So this is a way people get around that rule. They'll post a couple hashtags in the caption, add the first comment, and then they'll start with the rest of the ones they couldn't fit in there. Another reason that they use the first comment as a caption or hashtags is to generate more engagement. I haven't had a lot of success when I've tried that on the Cref Partners real estate page, but if you want to try that on your Instagram page and let us know. Some people get more engagement, others don't. It's just kind of whatever works best with your niche and with your followers.
I've done it that way because I've forgotten sometimes to add the hashtags, and I'm like, oh, I forgot to do the hashtags, and then I'll go do that, and they'll drop it in. So let's see. Next question is from Lisa. Do you have hashtags you created that you use for every post? For example, your name. Is that worth it?
Yes, I definitely think so. There'll come times when you go to post an image or a video and no hashtags really seem relevant, especially in those types of cases. I always have, like you saw on my phone, a notes page with the hashtags we usually use. So for Cref Partners, we pretty much always will use hashtag Austin Real Estate or hashtag Austin Homes, just anything like that. That's why we recommend keeping that notes page, because you can reuse hashtags and it is a very good idea. Because like we talked about, they'll categorize, they'll organize, and they'll draw attention to your post and your page.
You might do a branded one. We could probably start just dropping Cref Partners every time.
Yeah.
Susan asked the question, do you have to keep the HashMe app tag in your post?
You don't. The reason I left it in this post was because it had about 279,000 other people using it. So for this example, I left it in there just because it was a top performing post, but you can absolutely remove that.
Okay. Kelsey asks, is HashMe just a mobile app? I tend to post from my laptop.
It is a mobile app. So if you're posting from your laptop, I recommend just looking at your phone and typing those in.
Yeah. Or using a tool like the one we're going to show you sometimes the tool has those built in, right? Sue asks, what's the minimum and max number of hashtags to use? There is no minimum, and I believe the max number you can do is 30. Jennifer asks, access from desktop on this as well, and does it sync with Later for posts? Later being, I would imagine, the posting app. And I don't think there's not desktop access. Okay. So with that actually is this. So that was the first two questions we answered. What should I post? We talked about Lumen 5. And then to answer the question of how to increase engagement, one of the things that we can do is to use hashtags, and we can use a hashtag tool like HashMe. Now, that leads us to the third tool that we're going to talk about, which is how do we make it easier to post stuff? And for that, Sarah's done a bunch of research. She looked at Later, she's looked at Buffer, she looked at a bunch of the different apps that are out there to help, like Hootsuite. She's looked at all these different apps to help manage social media. Now, when it comes specifically to we're using Instagram, we've settled on this particular tool. So Sarah, I'm just going to let you talk about this tool, explain it to everybody, show everybody. There's some really cool features in this, some great time-saving features, some great ways to increase the engagement on your page. So I think if you're in the market for trying to save time on Instagram, this is one that I would seriously consider. It's one that we're using for our Instagram stuff as well. So with that, I'm just gonna let you take the reins, and
Awesome.
there's the computer. Just kind of be careful with the thing there. Okay.
Awesome. Okay, guys. So what I'm going to show you is called Sked Social, and it is, I just call it my magic all-in-one Instagram tool at this point. There's so many features on here I'm using daily, and I'm really excited to share it with you. I think you're going to love it. So let's just jump right in. So as soon as you log into Sked Social, before I begin, I should mention this is a paid-for app. It is $25 a month for the lowest subscription, which is what I'm showing you guys today. There is a free 7-day trial subscription. I recommend if you're not sure, but like I said earlier, if you're serious about Instagram, which I'm assuming you are, this is definitely worth it. So let's get started. So when you first log in, you're going to be shown this upload page. So this is where you're going to be uploading all of your content, and you can upload anything to Sked Social. You can upload single image posts, carousel posts. Really cool. You can upload stories, which I haven't found another app or tool that will allow you to schedule stories in advance. So that's very cool about Sked Social. You can upload videos or GIFs or text status. This one is mainly going to be used in conjunction with the story post. So next we have the planner feature. So this one is really, really cool if you're into visually planning your Instagram page. And what I mean by that is there are some people out there who will visually plan how their grid looks on their profile, and they'll post pictures based on that. So for example, if you wanted this entire middle column to just be a single white image with text, you could plan that out using this planner. If you're planning things out and you just kind of don't like the way it's looking, you can change those around. So for example, if I just didn't like that there is a video in the middle of all of these pictures of beautiful houses, I could just drag and drop and move that around. So that's a really cool feature. The planner app is probably, or the planner feature, excuse me, is probably one of my favorite features of the Sked Social tool. So next is, we'll save those changes. Next is the calendar. And this is where you're actually going to be scheduling everything out. So as you can see on our calendar, right now we have 1:30 p.m. This was scheduled on Sunday. This one right here, we actually posted today at 1 p.m. And then we see we have one scheduled for Thursday morning, one scheduled for Friday morning. And this goes out as far as you want it. If you want to go ahead and plan your next 6 months of posts in advance, you can absolutely do that. And more power to you if that's what you decide to do. So you can see we planned some out all the way until Friday, the 31st of January. So next is going to be the upcoming posts. And here's just where you're going to see all the posts that you have scheduled to go out right now. So this is the next one we have scheduled. This is going to go out on tomorrow at 11:30. And here's where you can edit any of these posts. If you forgot to add some hashtags, forgot a link, you can come in here and edit those. The draft section is where all of your posts are going to be that you have uploaded but have not scheduled. So you can upload posts, you can add a caption, add hashtags and everything, and just keep it in your draft section until you're ready to schedule it. And you can come in and see what you have left and what options you have to post. The archives are going to be exactly what it sounds like. These are all of the posts that have already been posted. And you can scroll through and see the caption. The one thing I don't really like is this doesn't update. So we have more than just one like on this video. It just doesn't update very well. That's not a really big deal because obviously you're going to be using the Instagram account as well to kind of measure your followers and your likes. I will just say that's one thing about the algorithm I don't think they've quite fixed yet. And if I'm going too fast or anything, please let me know in the comments. I can definitely slow down. Oh, thank you. So next is going to be analytics. You can check out your pages, check out your posts, check out numbers. This is going to kind of give you that overview. And if you want to nerd out on those numbers, this is where you're going to want to go for that. Another really cool feature about Sked Social is the template manager. So this will actually allow you to save a ton of time in scheduling posts, creating posts, etc. So let's just say that every time you have a new listing, you're going to post the same type of post. You come in here, create a template for it. Name of the template will be new listings or just listed. Come in here and just add the caption you're pretty much always going to post. And then I would highly, highly recommend adding those hashtags that you're always going to post. This way you don't forget to post them. They're always there. And like I said, it'll help categorize, organize, and draw attention to your post as well as your page. The next feature I'm going to talk about is queue. I don't use this feature and I don't recommend it because you have to have a static schedule. So the only way that this queue function is really going to be helpful is if you know every Sunday you post something at 10 a.m., every Monday you post something at 5 p.m., etc. What it's going to do is it's not going to allow you to pick and choose what you post. It's going to take your most recent draft and throw it on your page, which is just why I don't recommend using this feature. If you do use it and you like it, please let me know. I'd love to hear some feedback on anybody else who uses that. And last but not least, probably my favorite feature about Sked is the link in bio feature. So Jennifer, this should answer that question you have. So this Sked link in bio basically gives you your own web page and allows you to add a URL to each post. So this is an example over here, and you can see this looks exactly like our Instagram. So exactly same grid, the exact same photos, everything. And what this allows you to do is it allows you, like I said, to upload a link with each post that they can actually click on. So I'm going to show you that in real time. So this is our Creth Partners Instagram page. And right here is our Sked link. So if you click on that, this is the exact page that you'll see. Again, it's got our entire Instagram grid. It's got a little blurb up here. We have 2 buttons that'll take you to either our listings or our YouTube channel. And then each of these grid images will take you to a separate URL. So this photo right here is going to take us to the blog. Okay, so what's really cool about that, most of you probably know with Instagram, you can't add actual links to posts. Oh, thanks, Terry. I'll slow down a little bit. With Instagram, you cannot add actual links to posts. So this is just another way to keep engagement going with your followers, with your viewers, to get you more likes, more follows, and honestly, at the end of the day, to get more leads. People that are actually going to be able to click on these, click on the caption, see that they can follow the link in the bio. That's going to do wonders for you. People are going to actually follow through, leave you more information on your website, etc. So that link is very important, and I definitely recommend setting that up the second you download Sked Social. So now that I've gone through the overview of Sked Social, I'm going to go ahead and show you guys how to use it to upload a post. Yes, Becky, you can add additional links. So with the Sked link, this is the page you'll get when you set up your link. You can add more buttons. If you want to add a button for the disclosure link, you can add that. If you want to add buttons for each post instead of the grid, you can certainly do that. You can turn it on and off. You can have more than black buttons or more than 2 black buttons. You don't have to use buttons. It's all very customizable, which is what's really cool about Sked Social.
All right, so now you're going to show us how to actually do a post, right?
Yes. So today I'm going to show you how to do a carousel image post. And so you're going to start on the upload page, and you want to make sure you click the corresponding one, whichever you're doing. So we're going to go with carousel image post. Click on browse. And I have these 2 downloaded, ready to go. And then you're just going to click continue once those load. Okay. So once that loads, you can see the 2 images over here. You can edit those images. Probably shouldn't have done that. There we go.
It's just taking a little bit of time.
Yeah, just taking a second. So this will automatically resize your image if it's too big. You can go through and edit it, pick different filters, change the color, etc. The first thing I like to do when I'm working on a post is I work from the top to the bottom. So the first thing I'm going to do is add the location. This was in Georgetown, Texas. Another thing that's kind of important are locations. So if you just saw when I tried to add that location, check-ins, 346,000. So that's very important because when people check in to a location, it also shows them the most recent check-ins there. So just another way to tag yourself, draw attention, categorize, and organize your page and your posts. Next, we're going to go to the caption, which I actually already have written out, just to save a little bit of time. So this is a home that we actually just sold. So you got the little caption here, and then we have the check out the link in the bio right here. And like Chris said earlier, you actually can have some recommended hashtags. So another cool thing about Sked Social is it recommends hashtags based on your posts, hashtags you've used in the past, and the content that you're uploading. So if you use Sked Social with the Hash Me app, you're going to be perfect. Everything's going to be going good for you. It might not start out as quickly as you think. Like Chris said, nothing's going to happen overnight. But if you consistently use these tools and you're consistent with your posts and your content and your captions, then you're going to start seeing some more followers, some more engagement, and ultimately some more leads falling in from that. So I'm just going to add a couple more of these hashtags. Austin Homes. I think you guys can pretty much get the gist of that. So after you have your caption the way you want it, you have the line breaks the way you want it, you got your emoji in there, we're going to go ahead and put the URL for this post. Now, the URL you put here is going to be the URL that they are directed to if they click on that post using the Sked link. So we're just going to use the listing page. Drop that right there. And you're pretty much good to go after that. I'm going to go ahead and preview this post just to make sure everything's the way I want. Everything looks good. Got my hashtags. Great. So then you're going to submit and create post. When you click this button, it does not post your post to Instagram. What this does is submits this to the draft section. So we're going to go ahead and submit that. And now if I go to drafts, this is the one we just did. It's in draft section. I'm going to go over to calendar and show you guys how to just easily drop that in. So we're going to go ahead and schedule this for this afternoon. So what you want to do is come over here to this draft section. This is where all of your drafts are going to be. And you just click and drag. And let's post this. Let's do it at 4:30. And that's all you have to do. It's that simple. You just click, drag, drop, and you're good to go. And that's it. Pretty much Sked Social in a nutshell.
All right. So I saw a bunch of questions popping up here. Let me drop this down here, make it a little bit bigger. Okay. So I'll read the questions for you and then we'll try and answer them together.
Awesome.
I did see one question, or actually, I think it was a comment. Someone was saying, well, let me go through. I'll see if I can find it here. I saw one of the questions was, doesn't Facebook's creator, I think it's either creative or creator studio. It's basically one of the parts of the business page allow you to schedule apps and do some stuff, schedule posts. And I would say the difference between using something like that, which is a free tool provided by Facebook, great way to get started, easy way to schedule Facebook posts that go to Instagram and Facebook, is and even how this particular app, Sked Social, compares to tools like Hootsuite, is this is just for Instagram. Mm-hmm. And so it's for Instagram, and it is a big step up from what some of those free services provide, right? Like that link in bio feature, tremendous feature that enables you to do so much more that you can't do without using a tool like this. Being able to go through and use create a photo with all those different filters. Again, not something a lot of those other tools will allow you to do. So this is like if you want to really focus on, and that's what they've done with Sked Social, is it's just for Instagram. And so therefore, because it's a tool just for Instagram, you can do a lot of stuff in Instagram with this tool that you just can't do with some of the other features. So that's really what the difference is for this one compared to Hootsuite, or compared to that Creative Studio offered, the free one offered by Facebook. So let me see if I can find some more questions here. Will this predict best time to post and how many times per week? Mohini, I don't think it will predict which time is the best time to post. That is going to be based on your own account analytics, which you can always go. They have account analytics. If you've got a business account set up for Instagram, you can go see when that is. To be honest with you, I don't. And if you look at the frequency and recency part that we talked about, you want to be posting at minimum every couple of days, right? Like that's at least every couple of days on Instagram. And that's it. I find that the difference that we would get if we, the 5 extra views or 10 extra views that we would get if we post at noon versus 6, it's not a big enough thing for us to say, oh, I got to schedule it just for that time. But if you're at that level, you can use your own account analytics to determine, based on your own followers on Instagram, which time they're most likely to see it. I think just consistency is the key here. A couple of times a week and you're good to go. Crystal is asking, will Sked Social keep the spacing between the lines once you post the post is actually posted? I believe so.
They should. I would recommend just double checking your work. Every time I schedule a post, I set an alarm on my phone and I just go in and double check that it was posted and that everything looks the exact way I want it to.
And what Crystal's referring to there is it used to be that you couldn't do line breaks, and still technically you can't. You got to put like a period. If you're posting from the phone, you got to put a period. The way to get around that is to use the Notes app and use that to create the line breaks. I do believe formatting, and this is just a marketing principle, formatting your captions to be easy to read is important. It's just a marketing 101 concept is you want your copy to be readable. And in social media, sometimes we might just drop that paragraph of text because we're kind of like microblogging on social media. But it is important to make it easy to read, especially for those of us who are getting a little bit older like myself and have to hold our phones kind of like down like this. So formatting those posts is going to go a long way. Let's see. Next question is from...
Real quick, I did see a question. Becky asked for some examples of a story post. You can actually go to our blog and check out our latest blog. We have examples of stories, how to post a story, what to post in your story. So check that out. It'll help you out a ton.
Yeah, drop that. Jordan, did you drop that link?
I don't
Jordan,
know if I sent it to you. Okay.
So Jerry asks, I really need to learn one thing at a time. How do you post a video from Lumen 5 without the other software created on the computer, but his Instagram is on the phone? So Jerry, you have a couple of options. I think what I'm reading is, how do you post a video from Lumen 5 without using other software? So with Lumen 5, I find it tremendously more easy to use Lumen 5 on the desktop because it's multimedia and you're doing all this stuff to be able to drag and drop those videos. Although they do have an app that you can use, but it's just going to be easier, I find, to create and do creative work like making videos or like modifying images in the desktop. So that's the one thing that I would suggest. And then it's very easy to get that video from Lumen 5 onto your phone, right? So you can, I use Mac, so I can airdrop it. I can just drop it into my photos. I can save it. But basically I'm getting it from my computer to my phone. And then if I don't want to use a tool like Sked Social, then I can get it to my phone and post from my phone. But that is also why a tool like Sked Social makes it a lot easier if you are creating this. I think that's one of the things. It takes a lot of time to create just using this, right? And that's not that it's not possible, but if you're doing photo and video manipulation, or you're trying to schedule a whole block of posts, or you're doing copywriting, right, for the captions of the post, I believe it's a little bit easier to use something like your desktop to do that, just because you have more workspace. You need to have a nice organized workspace. You just need the sheer space to be able to do so. So whether you're going to use a tool like Sked Social or not, it might be helpful just to use your desktop if you're going to do a whole bunch of them. Now, some of you might be doing it real time. You're always on the go. So then what you can do is you can take the photos and you can modify and manipulate them and use the same tools to be able to post on the go as well. So let's see here. Let me see if I can. Jordan, as a side note, I'm not sure if I'm seeing all the questions being marked as questions over here.
Can you see them on that screen now?
I can't see them at all over. Oh, there's some over here now. Never mind. But only like 5 of them. I don't know if you've marked more than 5. All right. So I have I answered this one. Henrietta says, "What's the difference with Later?" So actually, Later is another Instagram only tool. You compared both of them. What are your thoughts on this one versus Later?
So when I first started researching which one I like better, I was on the fence between Later and Sched Social because we used to use Later to schedule our posts. I don't think it's as user-friendly as Sched Social. I had a much easier time getting started and getting really comfortable with Sched Social. Later does offer a free version of the app, but it does not come with the features that you would need, like Sched Social does. I would say if you're on the fence, you can try them both. I just really personally preferred Sched Social because of the features, it's easy to use. It comes with a ton of tutorials. You can set up a one-on-one to get your account set up. They'll go through every feature with you, online with you. I just think that they have more support and better features.
Gotcha. So we answered what's the difference from Hootsuite. Hootsuite being sort of a general social media posting platform versus this being just for Instagram, and the consequences of making those choices. A jack of all trades is going to do everything. It's going to be able to do everything, but it might not be able to do everything really well. Versus this tool, it can't do everything like in terms of all social media apps, but it can do Instagram exceedingly well. Melinda asks, is this scheduler for IG only, or does it handle Facebook? For Sched Social is for Instagram only, and that's why it's got so many of those features, and it does it really well. Judy asks, this was the one. Judy mentioned the Facebook Creator Studio is free and allows scheduling and gives stats for both Instagram and Facebook. That is true. Just doesn't have, it's just not as friendly. You can't do as much. It's a great way to, I wouldn't necessarily call the Creator Studio and Facebook as a time-saving mechanism. I would say it allows you to create and save posts for future use, but a tool like Sched Social, and even Later for that matter, but these tools are meant to literally save you time. And there's a difference between having like feature or functionality versus having features that save you time, that make your workflow easier or expand your capabilities. That link in bio feature is a very big deal in terms of engagement, right? So in Instagram, as you probably know, when you go and someone says, if someone types out a link in the caption, it's not linkable. That's why you'll see the link in bio feature. Now, it would be a super pain in the butt to actually have to change the link every time you did a recent post, and then anytime anybody saw like a post from before, the link wouldn't be relevant anymore if you were changing it up. Or you just have to go with like one static link for all things. Well, what Sched Social allows you to do is it recreates your Instagram page so that people can then click on the photo or of the image or the video that you had posted, and then it takes them to a landing page that is basically recreating Instagram in a linkable context. And I think that's very important for anybody who is going to want to engage their customers to the next level. It's great to be able to get likes, comments, people to like your photo, be able to comment and get that type of engagement. That's great. But at some point you want to make an offer of help. You might want to say, hey, can I help you? Here's a report that I put together. Here's a blog that I wrote. Here's a video. Here's a listing that I have on the market. So a really good context for use for that link in bio, like in our example, is let's say you're marketing a listing or you're marketing a recently sold. Well, it's great to just see the photo or the video or the images or the carousel images on Instagram. But if you want to see more photos, click on the link in bio. If you want to get more details on this home, click on the link in bio. Same thing with sharing tips and advice, where, let's say you use a video like the one that I did for talking about the market so I use Lumen 5 to create a video based off of a blog post. Well, share that on Instagram, but then use that link in bio feature. So if they've got a question and want to get more information, they can click on it, takes them to the blog page. So it's just a way And these are tools that expand your capability, meaning like it actually increases engagement because you've got new capabilities that you otherwise could not do, and at the same time save time. And I think that's, for our own criteria when it comes to choosing tools like what we're sharing with you is, does it create new, and every tool that I use, the questions that I'm going to ask are, does this create like a new capability? Can I do something that I could not do before that is worthwhile, right? Do I have a new capability? Do I now have a new way to produce results with whatever I'm doing using this new tool? So that's one piece. The other thing is, does it make me either one of two things? More effective in the sense, can I do more of the right thing, or more efficient, meaning can I do that thing better, right? Do I save time in doing that thing, or can I do it more efficiently, or can I do it in an improved way? And so when you're looking in any context, do you have new capabilities? In this case with social media, is this producing things that I could not otherwise do, like a link in bio, or the frequency of posts, or being able to create more posts rapidly using a tool like this? Does it create an efficiency? Can I save myself an hour a month, 2 hours a month, 3 hours a month? Those are the types of questions that we want to ask ourselves, because if it can save you an hour a month, then it's likely, as long as it's, depending on what you think your time is worth, but $30, which, how much is Sked Social?
$25.
25. I know your time is worth more than $25 an hour. So if you can save yourself an hour or 2 hours, now all of a sudden it's paid for itself and then some, at least. And I know you're worth more than $25 an hour, but just to use that math as to simplify this equation, is it's going to at least, it'll save you an hour. It's worth buying that hour back by using a tool like this. The only other way to save an hour is just hire somebody else to do it for you, right? That would be another alternative. So anyway, that is the last question that I have marked over here, Jordan. Are there any other questions that maybe were in the chat that did not pop up over here on this other section?
I'm going to answer Justin's question real quick.
Okay.
What if you have an Insta post that asks, which listing do you like better? How do I put the link to both listings with the link in bio? So for this, what I would recommend doing is actually going back to those black buttons. So you could just add some buttons here. You can change these. You might want to say listing 1, listing 2. I would just recommend titling those listings. If you ask them which one they prefer, make sure you really title those listings, and then they'll be able to click on which one they like better if you just create a button for it with your Sked link. And then Dale, so as this relates to the MVP collateral, would we simply paste in the Instagram post text provided along with the Instagram image in a Sked Social? Yep, that's exactly what you would do. And then you could use the hashtag generator through Sked Social or the HashMe app, whichever you prefer. Throw some hashtags in there and schedule it out, and you're good to go.
And then you can link using that link in bio feature to link to the blog post for the marketing materials that we provide you with as well. I did see a comment in here, and I didn't see it flagged. And I don't know if Jordan, if you answered this in the chat feature, but it was somebody asking about whether Instagram stories, what are the benefits of doing an Instagram story versus doing a normal Instagram post? Because an Instagram story is only going to remain available for 24 hours versus an Instagram post is going to be on your page forever. So I know I have my thoughts on why you might want to use stories versus feed, or use them together. Curious to see if you have any thoughts on, stories. What's better about stories than posting on Instagram normally?
So with stories, you'll normally get not as much engagement. However, you'll get more views, if that makes sense. So more people will actually view your story, but not as many people will engage with you. I think one of the best practices I would use for a story would be to use a story to tease your followers to go look at one of your posts. So because stories are much shorter, you could upload a 15-second walkthrough video and have the ending call to action be, hey, go check out the full walkthrough on my latest post.
Gotcha.
So that's pretty much the best practice I've seen.
Yeah, I mean, the reason why stories in part is effective is the fact that it only lasts 24 hours. There's a built-in urgency for people to go check it out before it expires. I think the other benefit to using stories is that it's an opportunity. It's an opportunity for you to produce visuals that are more forgiving. And what I mean by that is you can do a selfie photo, that you might not normally do on your regular feed, because it's casual, it's informal. People expect that to be, and it's okay for you to do it. In fact, a really common way to get engagement on your stories is to take a photo, but mark it up with text or something to make it stand out, which is not something you might normally put onto your normal Instagram feed, because you're trying to maintain a certain aesthetic. For example, let's say you've got a lot of pictures of real estate or real estate listings or luxury homes or whatever the case may be. And you don't really know if you want to compromise that aesthetic that you've created with some of the more personal or funny things that you might be doing, or just the real you, but you can use stories to do so. And so it's a good way you can think about how you're going to utilize stories. And like we mentioned, Sarah just authored a blog post on using stories, and specifically in a real estate context. I believe we shared that for you to go check that out on our blog as well. So with that, I think, Charlotte asked, Instagram personal or business page?
Business page, definitely business page.
Yeah, if I would suggest a business page. You can brand it as yourself, but the business page is going to have a number of different benefits. One is you can see the analytics. You can actually get the data for what's happening with your account. Another thing is, if you plan on doing ads in the future, which I'm a big proponent of Instagram ads. In fact, I was doing some research. A number of the Facebook ads that I've used to market listings, the lowest cost, highest source of traffic was actually Instagram. In some cases were on Instagram ads as opposed to Facebook. And I didn't know that in advance until I went and looked at the data, because I just had it going both places. And I looked after the fact and saw that, wow, the Instagram placement of my Just Listed campaign, for example, on this particular listing was all of the traffic. So for those two reasons, if you want to be able to get data and insights on your posts so that you can work to improve what you're doing based on the data that you're getting, and if you want to do ads, then yes, I would recommend using a Instagram business account. And you can actually you can switch back and forth between a personal and business account, so there's no harm or foul should you make that choice or decision. And Melanie says business page but not creator page. So with Instagram, there's a business account or a personal account. And so that's what you're doing. You do need if you're going to use a Instagram business account, you will need a Facebook business page. It'll have you set one up if you do not have a Facebook business page already. And Alex asks, can you schedule posts for different Instagram pages?
Yes, you can upload, I believe, as many accounts to Sked Social as you have, and it's very easy to navigate between them. If you see over here, if I did upload multiple accounts, then I could just easily choose between which one I want to schedule. It's super simple.
So Rael asked, how about posting longer videos on IGTV? Does that help with engagement? That is actually going to likely be the topic. IGTV will likely be a topic of a future blog post that we're going to do. And yes, IGTV is a way for you to increase engagement. However, what's the word I want to use? The requirements for doing IGTV in terms of what you're going to do is going to be a little bit different than what we might do to market a listing. For IGTV, for example, I wouldn't use Lumen 5 just to create an animated text video. For IGTV, however, you might do something like a walkthrough, right? Like literally hold your phone, show some highlight features of a home, or get a friend to go along with you and then hold the phone and then do like a walkthrough video, for example. You could even do that live, but you're going to use to create longer format content. In order to do so that's engaging for our context in real estate, it's going to be a little bit different than the types that you would post on your normal Instagram feed or even as a story. So the requirements are a little bit higher, but we'll likely be covering that in a future blog post. And if we do that, then we'll also be able to share it with you guys as well, because we got to do some more research on it. Currently, we're not using IGTV for our own pages. So until we do, I won't feel comfortable being able to say, hey, here's what we have found by doing it. And Jennifer was asking, can you post to IGTV from Sked Social? I don't know.
I'm not sure about that, but I will look into that.
Okay. Let's see. And I think that wraps up for all of the questions that we got. makes sense. We've been here for an hour and 27 minutes. So thank you guys. This has been a lot of fun learning along with you about some of these tools. I've gotten my chance to go in there and play around with Sked Social and HashMe, and I think that fortunately, she's the one who's doing Instagram stuff. So I'm glad Sarah I was able to share her with you guys so that you can learn along with me what she's up to in working on our Instagram accounts. So with that, guys, I'm going to, let's see, any last questions? Sean is asking for a quick recap on the hashtag information. Hashtags good. Hashtags make it to where you categorize content. Use HashMe to use them. Okay. So everyone's saying thank you, thank you. Thank you, Sarah. Thank you guys for checking us out and being with us for the last hour and a half to learn more about Instagram. If you're here, I'm going to assume that you share a goal with me, which is that you want to learn how to use Instagram and you want to increase your effectiveness with it and get better results. That's actually one of my goals in 2020 as well, is to increase my effectiveness and what we do and get with our Instagram accounts, which is why I've got folks like this here on staff to be able to help all of us learn how to do that. And so stay tuned, because this is not the last time you've heard from Sarah. I'm sure you're going to be hearing from her in the near future. Well, thank you guys, and we will see you on the next member training. We'll see you on the private Facebook group. Take care.
Bye, guys.